This is Brandon Cutler from AEW. You're watching Cole TV.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60, where we recap everything that happened in the world of professional wrestling this past week. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by, hey, you made it back from Cleveland, bro. It's Mr. B-Roll. How was your trip?
It was fine. Made some friends along the way. And
nice. Did you learn any more about Otto Graham?
Did you know that many believe that if he was playing in the modern era, he'd easily probably be one of the best quarterbacks of all time?
Well, that's another story for another time.
Stat sheet stuffer is what they were saying.
Well, glad to have you back with us, of course. And man, oh man, for the week after SummerSlam, quite a bit happened in the world of pro wrestling. So I'll let you hit us with the beautiful, beautiful words.
Yes, I will indeed. And shout out to Mike MJD Duplessis for filling in for me on short notice
from another mother.
But he is the better looking one out of the two of us. But that's neither here nor there. I'm here. The clock starts now.
All right. Our top story this week, the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. And holy shit, this transcended to me like a SummerSlam or a Monday Night Raw after Mania. Like, this was one of the best Raws I've seen in years. So much happened on this episode. This crowd was amazing. Like, everything about it was awesome. I am telling you, man, I am so enthralled and ready to see what's going to happen on tonight's Raw because of what happened all last week. But this truly felt like what a Raw should be like after a pay-per-view. I'm not saying premium live event, damn it. Like a big pay-per-view, that is. What were your thoughts on this past week's Raw?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was already a lot to look forward to going into it, even before SummerSlam, with the Wyatt Six debuting. But man, oh man, like we got that and
so much
then some. Yeah.
But let's talk about, you mentioned it, the big story coming out of Raw this week. The in-ring debut of the Wyatt Six, as we got that big main event, that big 6-man tag with the Wyatt Six going up against the newly dubbed American Made. Not sure how I feel about that name, but whatever. Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. I got to tell you, man, the chemistry between these three looked like they've been wrestling together for years. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah. I mean, it's just I don't know how they do that one move where the one gets pushed onto, like, it's crazy.
Dexter Lumis was like, holy shit, this is like, I forgot like Dexter Lumis was this good. And Joe Gacy freaking killed it. And of course, Rowan. And a big shout out to Rowan with the tribute to Brody and stuff. And of course, how apropos this was on the same in the same venue where the Wyatt family originally debuted. I mean, everything about this was incredible. Loved every bit of it. And the Wyatt Six is here. They are in the WWE. Where do you go from here now? Because I don't believe this rivalry with the the Creeds and Gable is quite over yet. Would you say?
Agreed. If it's me, and I know some people might be frustrated with this because I mean that's how wrestling fans are, but I keep the slow burn going because it's going to deliver in the long run.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, a real like make it more of a special attraction because now it's like we are so intrigued. Like, when are we going to see Uncle Howdy in the ring? You know, I'm assuming we'd be getting a one-on-one matchup with Gable here in the near future at some point. Could that be possibly as early as Bash at Berlin? I don't know, but I think honestly too, with how WWE did this, they were wise because I think if you would have put this on the SummerSlam card, it would have been too crammed. This was such a special moment, and especially the fact with the history with it happening where the Wyatts originally debuted. I mean, this was just perfect in every sense of the word. I loved it. I loved every bit of it, and I cannot see what's going to happen going forward with the Wyatt Six in the WWE and on Monday Night Raw. But like you say, that's not all that happened on Raw. Of course, the big fallout from SummerSlam, outside of the return of the OTC, was definitely, without a shadow of doubt, the fallout and the tearing apart of the Judgment Day. And we did find out, it looks like the Judgment Day has got a new version because now Carlito is officially in. And yes, of course, Liv Morgan is now a part of the Judgment Day, which, as Finn Balor put it, like there's no leaders with them. It's everybody's equals, so to speak. But the one thing I liked that Finn did in his promo talking to Priest was kind of telling the story of like how this has really been going on for over a year, honestly. Because you think back to last summer, when Priest had the Money in the Bank and was teasing it and kind of cost Finn Balor the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins last year. So this has obviously been building for a while. You talked about the long-term storytelling, man. This was great. And this summer, this story with Liv and Rhea, you know, both their revenge tours and stuff. So now we've got the Judgment Day is new, and we've got the Terror Twins on the scene there on Monday Night Raw. And I thought that was such an emotional moment when those two embraced in the middle of the ring too. What do you make of the fallout of this Judgment Day split?
I would say get your popcorn ready. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, so Carlito, like it's weird, but like I love it at the same time.
Right? It's like I don't understand it, but I'm glad he's with them. I did have that in my bingo card. That's the thing, man, with this whole thing with the Judgment Day. I mean, I think even on this show in its early infancy when we started it, we were kind of talking about like, okay, Judgment Day needs to be done. This is boring, whatever. My God, kudos to every single member of the Judgment Day, past and present, for just making them so damn interesting and one of the best factions going in the WWE. Because, I mean, there's just been a long, windy road, and it's been entertaining all along. So I got to say, honestly, if you would have asked me, you know, over a year ago, we would still be talking about the Judgment Day and excited about this story, I would have called you a liar. Because I honestly did not see that coming. But here we have this new Judgment Day. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them on Monday Night Raw. But Mr. B-Roll, throughout the history of pro wrestling, there's always been factions that have splintered off and broken up. I mean, it happens. We're sad to see it happen, but nonetheless, it does happen. And we turn to our good, close personal friend, the Best Scout Machine, to kind of reflect back on some of the greater factions that have broken up throughout the years in pro wrestling. Take a look at this.
E-Dub City. Let me tell you, it's been a crazy few days in the wrestling world. The Judgment Day in WWE has just been turned upside down with the exit of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. But, you know, this happens with factions, you know, like people come and they go, things change up, things get shaken up. But here, let me throw out some examples of people leaving famous factions. Who can forget when the Bullet Club betrayed their leader, AJ Styles, when he got his ass whooped by Kenny Omega? Oh, and let's not forget when Sting was in the Four Horsemen. Do you remember that? Does anyone remember that? I remember because I'm old. And yeah, he was part of the Four Horsemen. I think he had a title shot against Ric Flair, and they're like, no, you're going to give that shit up. No, we're going to whoop your ass, you blonde-haired beauty. Another example of someone leaving a famous faction, there's the On Repeat faction, which is known for wrestling inside of my Spotify. I had to get rid of the famous Shania Twain! I just had to get rid of her, see? Gone, not there anymore. I listen to Knock Loose. And also, famously, I was kicked out of the group of friends we had at Walmart. I didn't work there. I just popped up. I said, hey, I was, be buddy-buddy with them. I thought I'd make some friends. And, they felt like I was being a little creepy. And they banned me from that Walmart. And I had to take everyone off my friends list, off of Facebook. I thought they wanted to be my friend, but no. With the two of us may look no more. With the friends that call my own. You have glasses? Nerd. I'm the one chained up here. You won't be chained up for too long. No! There can be only one. And in time, my friend, we'll see. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Except for you, Linda, you bitch. Bye, guys.
Oh, Linda is a bitch. Well, we love you, Best Scout. And what is up with the other gout? That was weird. Anyways, we love you, buddy. And he explained it all so well. Well, hey, so much more happened on Monday Night Raw as well. Got to talk about this. Randy Orton showing up on Raw to challenge Gunther for that World Heavyweight Championship. This match is official for Bash in Berlin. A rematch from that King of the Ring finals. I know you're feeling extra oozy over there, but what do you make of this being Gunther's first title defenses against the Viper?
Well, it shocked the pants off of me, I ain't gonna lie. That may be too much information, but didn't see this coming. But I'm very excited about it.
No pun intended.
I love how Randy put it.
Because there was controversy over that King of the Ring final. So we're gonna right that wrong at Bash at Berlin. And I don't know, man. Gunther's Gunther. I mean, he's unstoppable. But if anybody could do it, it's Randy Orton.
I mean, I agree. It's not going to happen, but
no.
I agree.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be a hell of a matchup in Gunther's home country. Cannot wait to see it. And on Monday Night Raw, we got the surprise main roster debut of one Odyssey Jones as he showed up to help out the New Day in their war against the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross. And man, oh man, if you've never seen this big man before, let me tell you something. This guy is a specimen. Do you see how he just manhandled both of the Authors of Pain at the same time?
He's a big boy, making us big boys proud.
Yes.
But yeah, hey, 2 years on the main roster, and he finally made his debut. So
yeah,
good things come to those who wait, I guess.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I think I forget what the statistic was, but it was like a stupid amount of views on like YouTube and stuff to see like his Monday Night Raw debut. So kudos to him. I'm excited to see like what's going to happen with this new version of the New Day. I also like too how kind of Xavier is kind of a little like, well, you didn't really talk to me about this, so planting the seeds for that perhaps split up between them. Who knows? But nonetheless, this was very interesting to see, and cannot wait to see what happens with the big man on Monday Night Raw. Well, my friend, it's that time of the show. I think you need some advice. We all need some advice. from our good, friendly neighborhood Dad Hat. So let's go to Dad Hat with the tip of the week.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids, always remember, sometimes you have to take the bull by the horns. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. And sometimes it's going to make it get a little messy.
Oh my God! What? Big Bronson Reed being disrespected. Tsunami! Third again! Tsunami! Two! Not again! We need a tranquilizer in both of us! God! How much more can this ring and Seth freaking Rollins take?
Oh, baby. And Dad Hat, you are right, my friend. But man, oh man, this was probably my favorite thing coming out of Raw this past week was Bronson Reed cementing his stamp that, hey, I am ready to be a main event player. And man, oh man, attacking Seth freaking Rollins. That's a wise play on his behalf. And like the way this went down, everything about this segment to me was the biggest home run of the week on Monday Night Raw. Like, they literally, in one segment, made Bronson Reed a superstar. I believe him completely as a viable option to be, like, one of the top guys on the Raw brand. Like, everything about this segment was wonderful. Like, 6 freaking tsunamis. What did you think of this amazing segment off Raw?
You know, I go back to when he re-debuted and not knowing what to think of him. But I think you put it because he was a hired gun for the Miz at first when he came back.
At one point, yeah.
We've known what he's capable of.
Oh yeah.
From his run on the Indies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought maybe we'd see a little bit of it at Elimination Chamber. That didn't end up happening. But I feel like
for understandable reasons.
Yeah, I feel like I'm saying this a lot this episode, but good things come to those who wait. Like the slow burn mentality. This is an instantaneous, like a Star is Born type of deal.
Yeah. Dude, 100%. And like I say, I cannot wait to see what Bronson Reed's going to be doing these upcoming weeks. Obviously, in this rivalry now with Seth Rollins. Of course, Seth Rollins is going to be out for a little while, it sounds like. But man, oh man, Bronson Reed made an impact on Monday Night Raw. And of course, he's our Wrestler of the Week this week on PW60. Well, let's talk about the rest of Raw, which was solid too, my friend. Of course, got some great. There was some fun wrestling. You got Kaiser going up against Ludwig Kaiser going up against Sheamus. With now Ludwig Kaiser's back too, so good to see him back and healthy. We also got the this ongoing story between Damage Control and this new faction of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, God, I almost said Deonna Purrazzo. Sonya Deville. Jesus Christ. Sorry, folks. Yeah, as we got that ongoing story going on as well on Monday Night Raw. Of course, the continuation of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and where that's going to go, because we're far from over with that, as you know. We also got to see some training of SmackDown talent too, as A-Town Down Under got to compete on Monday Night Raw going up against the Awesome Truth. Everything about Raw was a home run, like I said. It truly felt like what a Monday Night Raw should be after a major pay-per-view event like SummerSlam. And the biggest thing is, I think, too, this is like SummerSlam was the end of this next chapter in this Renaissance era of the WWE, right? And now we're moving on to the next chapter, and Raw kicked it off, and holy shit, bro. I can't, like I say, I can't wait to see where we go from here. But Raw, as great as Raw was, we got to talk about Friday Night SmackDown too, which was a solid show as well. Of course, the big story coming out of SmackDown was the return of the OTC himself, one Roman Reigns. Made his triumphant return to SmackDown and pretty much just wrecked shop against the this new bloodline. But he didn't didn't quite get fulfilled of getting his hands all the way on Solo Sikoa. They got him a little
No.
bit, but Solo got away there at the end. So obviously we're going to see some more of that coming on down the road. Also, we now know the next challenger for Cody Rhodes is WWE Championship is going to be none other than Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens was a little hesitant to step into that role. What do you think of that? Like, kind of what they're doing with this story of like, I'm not really worthy, but it's like, okay, they're friends, but because I think we're starting to something here that's going to be very interesting. And I don't think it's just going to end at Bash at Berlin. I think this is going to go on for a couple months.
Well, I have a couple thoughts. I thought for a second they were going to make a joke at Solo's record.
Oh yeah,
because he has a bunch of losses, but he got top shot. But they did not go for the low hanging fruit. But I would say this. So we thought, if anything, that Cody would be feuding with another one of his friends.
Well, I think we're waiting that later on. Honestly, I think that's going to be more towards WrestleMania season.
I do too. So it will be interesting to see how this story, because I don't think this will be just a one-off.
Right.
No,
I don't.
How this story plays into that story.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and they'll have a hell of a match up there at Bash at Berlin. So that's going to be very cool to see. Like, finally, I hate to say this, but I mean, the stuff Cody did with AJ was great. But everybody's kind of been critical of Cody's run so far here as champion. I don't think it's been bad, but I don't think it's been as exciting as it could be. But to me, this is the first big story outside of the bloodline that I think is going to be very interesting. So we'll just see what happens there. And of course, we've got some new number one contenders coming on SmackDown. Of course, Santos Escobar is your new number one contender for the United States champion, LA Knight. Yeah. And we saw a series of tag matches to determine the number one contenders for the tag titles, as DIY defeated Pretty Deadly and the Street Profits defeated A-Town Down Under. Man, oh man, A-Town Down Under taking 2 losses this week. Well, I think a certain someone on this show is going to have something to say about that. So let's go to our Tribal Queen Bree with your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week.
Hey, hi, hello. It's Tribal Queen Bree with the Tribal Queen tidbit of the week. And I'm talking about none other than Austin Theory. We still haven't got his face turn, but it's coming. It is coming. I didn't think it was. I felt like it was going to take forever. They're dragging it out. But then I saw a clip on Instagram where him and Waller were walking to the back after their match with the Street Profits. And Austin Theory was getting a little mad with Grayson Waller because Grayson wanted a rematch and to go to Nick. And Austin Theory's like, why do we always gotta go to Nick or start with Nick? So I think someone's going to be turning. So hopefully as a face, like I said, hopefully, you never know, but it's gotta happen. Paul, come on, just do it. Just do it already. Quit dragging it out. That's all I got to say about it. But that was your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week.
Thank you, Bree. And hey, the WWE, it just keeps on wrong because NXT Great American Bash Night 2 took place this past Tuesday night. And this was a solid night 2. Dare I say, maybe even a better night 2 than the first night, honestly. I mean, both nights were amazing, but oh man, this was a great one. Kicking off with Trick Williams and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne getting the win, too. What do you make of that? Because it seems like, okay, what are we doing now with Trick Williams? He lost his title. He's trying to get it back from Ethan Page. Now he's lost to Pete Dunne. Like, where does Trick Williams go from here?
That is a good question, indeed. But I think this is what we need for Trick Williams. He needs to go through some trials and tribulations. He was red hot, and we need to kick him back down so we can see the rise again.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it. Also, Kalani retained her NXT North American Women's Championship against Tatum Paxley. And man, oh man, dude, the whole thing with Wendy Chu, that shit is freaking me out. Like, what? I don't know what the hell's going on there, but yeah, y'all better watch your back. I'm just saying. Also, we had the NXT champion in action as Ethan Page defended his championship, retained it against Oro, which that had been kind of building for a while here too. So Ethan Page still your NXT champion, and I still believe in Joe Hendry. There we go. As Joe Hendry would defeat Gallows' Joe Coffey. And like he said at the end of the match, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Also, we got to see Ren Sinclair pick up a win against Kendall Gray, and thus now the North American Heritage Cup matchup is set for next week on NXT. Oh, this next one's tough, though. Let's talk about it. Your main event. The Rascals challenging for the Tag Team Championship against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Frazier and Axiom would retain, but that's not what everybody's talking about. Wes Lee, how could you do this to your brothers, man? Like, just turning on the Rascals. Like, you talk about, like, didn't see coming. I got to be honest with you. I did not see this one coming at all. What the hell is going on with Wes Lee, B-Roll?
Your guess is as good as mine. Like you said, did not see this coming. You could say Rascal's going to rascal, but man, I did not see this coming.
No, I'm a little sad. I am intrigued to see where Wes Lee goes from here, and I would assume this rivalry would kind of carry over the next couple weeks on TNA, Impact, as well as NXT. So. Just I don't know, Wesley. I am disappointed in you, sir, because I want to see more Treehouse segments. Damn it! Like, but nonetheless, man, this was a crazy turn of events. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. And speaking of going from here with NXT officially announced that they are going to go back on tour. Now, their first two shows that will air on the CW are actually going to be on the road. As a matter of fact, they're going to debut at the world famous Allstate Arena in Chicago. And of course, one CM Punk is going to be on that show as well. It's great to see them back on the road, man. I think this is something that's long overdue. And I mean, NXT, we talk about it every week. They are cooking, they are on fire. It only makes sense for them to go back on tour because I truly believe they are going to draw tremendously. Well, my friend, it's that time on the show. We need to spice things up a bit. Let's go to Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
Spicy Guac letting you know that it has been found out that Snitsky's baby that he punted into the Raw crowd is in fact JD McDonough. Do with that information what you will. Goodbye.
He's not. I don't think he's wrong, man. I think he's onto something there. Well, hey,
that one was extra spicy. He wasn't even wearing a shirt.
Yeah. Oh, you missed last week's one, brother. Anyways, so let's talk about AEW this week because we're on that road to All In. But let's talk about Dynamite from this past Wednesday night. Kicked it off with a tremendous matchup with MJF going up against Kyle Fletcher. And what you could argue is like a star-making performance for Kyle Fletcher. I mean, what he's done in the past year, I love Aussie Open, but I've almost forgot about him as like a tag team wrestler at this point. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that like this match signified like, okay, get him out of the Don Callis family somehow, some way. Like, have that be a story of how he's getting out of it, and he needs a singles push. Like, he went bananas.
Yeah, yeah, he really did, man. And which it was a great matchup, man. Great way to open Dynamite. Of course, we got to see the Mariah May in action as well. Shibata going up against Brian Keith, and we got to see the return of Hook is back in AEW, so putting the learning tree on notice there. Also, Camille was in action as well in a handicap matchup. Orange Cassidy teaming up with FTR in the unlikeliest of duos going up against Roderick Strong, Roosh, and Mortis. But let's talk about that main event, dude. Bryan Danielson against JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, the Last Outlaw, Slapnuts, Double J, whatever the hell you want to call him. But man, oh man, love him or hate that man, at his age, what he is doing is fucking impressive. Like, this was a tremendous main event matchup, tremendous matchup. I'm just blown away with how good this was. I'm not shocked, but at the same time, it's just like it's insane to see what the type of work that Jeff Jarrett can put out right now. What do you think of the Dynamite main event, my friend?
It got real intriguing when it was like no DQ. But man, where are we gonna end up on this winding road with Bryan Danielson?
We've only got a couple weeks. We very well could be seeing the end of Bryan Danielson's career. And it's crazy. You think of a guy like Jeff Jarrett, who's pretty much at the end of his career, but man, he's still going. He's still putting on great matches. He's still a great storyteller. He's in phenomenal shape. He's healthy. This is another one. I did not have Bryan Danielson against Jeff Jarrett on my bucket list for 2024. But this was a great Dynamite main event. A solid Dynamite as we build and go towards All In. Let's talk about Rampage from this past Friday night, as we got to see Darby Allin was in action going up against the Butcher. Wheeler Yuta going up against one Rocky Romero. Private Party was in action. And Saraya going up against Nyla Rose. I will say this. It was a decent Rampage, but I don't think it was as solid as like the Rampages we've been getting here lately. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
I agree. It was just okay.
Yeah, it was just okay. Wasn't bad. It's great Friday night wrestling. It was a solid show. But I gotta say this, I think this week's Collision was one of the better Collisions I have seen in weeks, because I'll be the first to admit, I've kind of been dogging on Collision here lately. But I thought Collision from this Saturday night was a solid show, man. You kicked it off with a great tag match with Darby Allin teaming up with Hologram to go up against the Premier Athletes. Of course, you got to see the FTR go up against the Outrunners, which, damn it, I need more of the Outrunners on my TV. I can't get enough of the Outrunners, man. I love those guys. Those guys are killing it right now. Love every bit of what they're doing. How about that open challenge from Swerve? And we ended up getting a matchup with Tomohiro Ishii. Holy shit, man. Got to see Hikaru Shida in action, of course, as well. And how about this story they've kind of been like telling that nobody's really been paying attention to, but stuff going on with Roosh and Preston Vance, which is we kind of put a bow on that, so to speak. Your main event was the Bang Bang Gang going up against the House of Black in a number one contenders match for those trios championships at Wembley, but that damn Christian Cage as a special referee ended up ruining it, as we did not get a decisive winner. So obviously probably going to get some type of multi-team matchup for All In, I would assume. Now, here's my biggest gripe on Collision. And you already know where I'm going with this. Why in the fuck was Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa not the main event? How does that match go on second? That's complete utter horseshit. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but that match was fucking amazing. I love the rivalry they've had. I love this matchup, and of course, it's our match of the week here on PW60. Incredible matchup. They did some great storytelling over the weeks too, as well, man. Like there's some highlights there in the women's division. I wish they could have got a little bit more of a spotlight put on them. If I'm nitpicking, but what'd you make of that Texas bull rope match from Collision?
Yeah, I think it's weird because we don't with these at the sorry words are hard at the venue they're at, like we don't know if like they're taping multiples at a time, so like I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it is kind of confusing how they're doing this. Yeah,
so I don't know, maybe this was set to be the main event and maybe they felt like they didn't get the crowd reaction that they wanted or something, so they put it on earlier,
which I don't agree with, but yeah, I see what you're saying though.
But I love the Dustin Rhodes narration going into it, and yeah, I mean, obviously these are, I think, easily two of both our favorites.
Yeah,
and it was one hell of a match.
Yeah,
it's hard to screw up a bull rope match in Texas.
right. All right, and of course Thunder Rosa picking up the win, and looks like is the rivalry done between these two though? I feel like maybe we're gonna pause it for a bit, but I bet they come back to it at some point, in my opinion. We see Thunder Rosa go after that TBS championship. Ooh, Mercedes. Watch
Ooh.
out. Because I need some Thunder Rosa as TBS champion. So. Well, All In is fastly approaching. It's coming on Sunday, August the 25th, and we got an update on the card, which is pretty much about the same, but with now the addition of the Casino Gauntlet match for a championship title fight on down the road, which the match is kind of confusing to me because I think if I remember correctly, the way this works, it can be won at any time. And I think on Dynamite, they're fighting to see who's going to get the number one spot. But typically, you wouldn't want to be number one in a match like that because the endurance. But now you do because, like, if you get the win, then nobody else. I don't know. It's fucking confusing. But hey, it's a way to get more people on the card for Wembley. So I'm here for it. So I look for them to add several more matches here in the next week or so. Probably Trios Championship as well as the tag team titles, among others. So. But once again, man, this is a solid core of matches that they already have here. It's getting my money and then some. So I can't believe All In's almost here, man. It's crazy. Crazy
It'll
to
be
think.
here before we know it.
It really will be here before you know it, my friend. So excited to see. And like I say, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next couple weeks here on AEW as we are on that road to All In. Well, let's talk about TNA's Impact from this past week. Once again, another solid show. Love the crossovers, as in your main event, we got to see Wolfgang from Gallus go up against Joe Hendry. Of course, Joe Hendry picking up the win there. We had a couple of qualification matchups to get into the Ultimate X match at TNA Emergence. We got to see Speedball go up against Jake Something and Trent Seven, as well as Zachary Wentz go up against Dante Chen and Casey Navarro, which I was excited to see those guys competing on TNA television. Also, like Jonathan Gresham kind of coming back with like getting rid of the mask there and like, well, I don't know what we're doing, but okay. At least he's not puking on guys, I guess. So there's that. And of course, the Steph DeLander PCO honeymoon and that damn Matt Cardona just can't let shit go. Can't let Steph and the monster just have their happy moment, man. I don't get you, Cardona. And then also Rosemary answering the Jordan Grace Open Challenge as well. Impact, we say this every week. Impact is killing it right now. If you're not watching them on Thursday nights, you need to do everything in their power, whether you watch on their YouTube channel, Impact Plus, like whatever the hell you got to do, Access TV, whatever the hell it is. make sure you're watching Impact Wrestling because you do not want to sleep on them. And this was a big announcement. TNA will be returning to the city of Detroit for their biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory, is coming October 26th at the Wayne State University Fieldhouse in Detroit. So excited for this. So happy to see they're going to be back in the Midwest. And I'm pumped to see Bound for Glory, man. I mean, with all the momentum TNA has right now, this is going to be an amazing, amazing show, and I cannot wait for it. So, all right, Mr. B-Roll, are you ready to get a little confused? Because let's break down the G1. Because I got to tell you, bro, I'm struggling to understand it because I think it's like we're down to like where the final four are gonna be competing in a tournament in the A block and B block or some shit. I don't know. Let me put it to you this way. Here is who's in the lead in A block. You got Zack Sabre Jr. with 12 points, Evil with 10, Naito with 10, Sonata, Shingo Takagi, and the Great Okan have 8 points, as well as Jake Lee and Gabe Kidd, Shota Umino, and Callum Newman all have. Or I'm sorry, Gabe Kidd and Shota Umino have 6, and Callum Newman at the bottom with 4 points. Now over on the B block side of things, we have got it's a little bit more intriguing. David Finlay with 10 points, Jeff Cobb, Ren Narita, all with 10 points. They're tied for first. You got Takeshita at 8 points, tied with Hiroki Goto, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Uemura with 8, and then Hanare.
I believe Yuya Uemura
had to withdraw due to injury. Thank you. Yes, that did happen. So he is now officially out. But you do have Hanare, Olgan Bolton, and El Phantasmo all at 6 points. We're hoping next week we're going to have more clear clarification on this because we're going into this show. We're just like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I don't know. It's confusing. Can't we just go to the basic? Yeah, can't we just go back to the basic stuff? But hey, you know what? We can't talk about one Japanese round robin tournament going on without talking about the other. Let's talk about the N1 victory going on in Pro Wrestling Noah. Here's your current standings. In Block A, you have Luis Manta with 8 points, Jack Morris and Dragon Bane tied with 6, Masa Kitayama and Josh Briggs with 4 points, Kaito Kiyomura and Ryo Owai with 3 points, and at the bottom, Atsushi Kotigue with 0. And then in Block B, you have Keno leading with 8 points, as well as you've got I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering these names. I apologize. I should have prefaced at the beginning. Man, where's Best Scout when you need him? You have Manabu Soya with 6, as well as Titus Alexander, Oka Sasaki, Yoshika Inamura, Tavian Heights, all at 4 points. Alpha Wolf and El Hio, Dr. Wagner Jr. with 2 points. Now, already 4 nights have occurred. We've got, I believe there's at least 4 to 6 more, I want to say. So, yeah. Best Scout himself says it, that this is the best tournament going in Japan today. But oh, we got more tournaments and round robin tournaments going on as the 5-star Grand Prix is about to kick off. But thank God, because we got an expert in Joshi Wrestling. Matter of fact, he put out an amazing series over on his YouTube channel, and that's the Light Skin Guy. Check this out.
Did you miss me? I certainly missed all of you. Welcome back to the Gaijin Temple. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get you caught up because we've had a big weekend in the world of Joshi. Stardom kicked off its annual 5-star Grand Prix tournament this weekend, and here are some matchups that really stole the show. Anna Jay was able to upset Saori Anou for her first 2 points in her Stardom debut. Meanwhile, Miyu Amasaki scored 2 points of her own with an upset over Xena. Rani Yagami defeated Saki Kashima in just about 30 seconds flat, while last year's winner Suzu Suzuki and Hanan would take a draw after being counted out. How about Azumi finally getting a victory over the woman who did her wrong so many years ago in Momo Watanabe? Or how about our first official look at the Dark Phoenix, who was able to wrestle away 2 points from Risa Sera? Or how about the night's ending where Maika defeated Natsupoi and Mayu Iwatani proved that she is still a fraction better than the cutest of the cosmos? As for night 2, Maika proved her dominance in a match against Yuna Mizumori. After defeating Manami on night 1, Hazuki would add another 2 points with a victory over Ruaka. After a draw against Mei Seira on night 1, Tomoka Inoba made sure Momo Watanabe left 0-2. Mei Seira and Azumi wrestled to a time limit draw, and even though Saya Iida had a strong showing, she was still no match for the Stardom icon. So here's what our Red Stars A and B blocks look like so far. Maika and Hazuki are clearly starting to run away with it, but don't sleep just yet on Konami and Manami. As for Red Stars B, Mayu Iwatani has taken control over the B block. However, Azumi and Tomoka Inoba are hot on her tail. As for the Blue Stars, in Blue Stars A, we have a 3-way tie with Shuri, Anna Jay, and Miyu Amasaki. It's still pretty early, so it's anybody's game. And the same can be said for Blue Stars B, with Saya Kamitani and Rani Yagami taking control of the board with 2 points. And if Suzu wants to repeat as champion, she's gonna have to lay down some groundwork if she wishes to wear the crown once again. And the Blue Stars take center stage as Starlight Kid takes on Anna Jay, Saya Kamitani takes on Tekla, Saori Anou takes on Shuri, and Koguma will face Xena. Well, that's gonna do it for me, but remember, you're always welcomed in the Gaijin Temple. But also make sure you're subscribed to Cole TV, because you don't want to miss out on any update regarding the 5-Star Grand Prix. So with that said, I am the light-skinned Gaijin Denard Ramon. And remember, Joshi Wrestling is for everyone.
Oh, we thank you, Denard, buddy. And hey, like we say, please go give Light Skin Gaijin a follow on his channel. Well, our good close personal friend Jay, who we got to spend all weekend with last weekend in Cleveland, actually doesn't have any dirt sheet news for us this week, but he was actually able to take a tour of the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So this is pretty cool. Check this out.
All right, it's your boy Jay here from Jay Knows Wrestling, and yes, Cole TV, we were in Cleveland for SummerSlam, but before going there, they took me to, I believe it was the Ohio Wrestling Hall of Fame. Long live The Rock. We got to see all the different iterations of John Cena. I call it the Ultimate Warrior. Wait, never mind, this was in the stadium. Oops. And then, yep, that's, oh, sorry, casually left my ticket there. But let's get back to the Cleveland Wrestling Hall of Fame. And yes, do you remember the GTV segments throughout the late 90s, mid-90s? Yes, mid-90s. It was supposed to be Tom Green or Goldust TV, because believe it or not, the first episode was actually GD TV. Well, anyways, this was the locker room of all of that craziness. What else did we see? Oh yeah, when Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch had that great match at Survivor Series, this is what both of them wore. We also got to see Ric Flair's robe from Starrcade 85. And this was something that some girl wore during a match. Also, what Liv Morgan was wearing that broke the internet. Jimmy Hart's megaphone on display. And we all know MJF is definitely an Ohio legend. And check it out, the Michael Jackson dancer even has his stuff on display. And Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch with another outfit. And yes, Alice Cooper, straight off his WrestleMania 3 appearance. And we all remember the Misfits when they were a part of WCW. And the Undertaker's gloves. For some reason, they are put with a Varsity Club jacket. Also, R.I.P. Kevin Sullivan. Just heard about it this morning. This is recorded well after we got back from Cleveland. And yes, here we are, the Judgment Days. Backstage area. Is Dominic Mysterio hiding in this picture? I don't know. But this was an exciting tour that Cole TV took your boy Jay on through the Ohio Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Jay, that was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That wasn't the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Well, he can't be an expert on everything. He's an expert on autogram. But
y'all are never gonna let me live that shit down, and rightfully so. But nonetheless, we thank you, Jay. You are a treasure, and we love you dearly, buddy. Hey, this was pretty cool. Check this out. It looks like the Judgment Day have been announced that they are going to be working Over the Top Wrestling in Ireland at their 10th year anniversary show. As JD McDonough and Finn Balor will be working that show, and it just goes to show you once again. Papa H, WWE, open those doors to other promotions, letting them use talent. I think this is awesome, man. I'm excited to see it, and it just makes me wonder, what else we're going to see on down the road with other promotions. This was fascinating to me. So the SGW, or the Soft Ground Wrestling, which is the very popular company over in Uganda, it came out this week that the CEO or the promoter, Daniel Bumbosh, is defrauding the company of money. So apparently, wrestlers, you hear about wrestlers sending them money for the ring and stuff and yada yada. Well, apparently this guy has been taking that money and pocketing it. Hence why they're still wrestling in the mud. So, what the fuck, man? It still is fascinating to me, and I hope they do finally get a ring, and because it seems like we've talked about them before here on the show. So. They're obviously doing something right. So just a crazy, fascinating story, to say the least, man. It's just goes to show you indie wrestling is strong no matter where you go, even over in Uganda. Speaking of which, it's that time of the show. Let's go to Michael with an independent report.
What up, yo? It's your boy Michael with another independent pro wrestling report. First off, we have Tri-State Wrestling presents All Aboard. Saturday, October 19th in Versailles, Indiana at the Tyson Activity Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7. TSWtickets.com for more information. Secondly, we have Lucky Pro Wrestling presents Fall Frenzy Friday, September 20th at the Leo Minster Fitchburg Lodge of Elks, number 1237. That is at 134th North Main Street in Leominster, Massachusetts. LuckyProWrestling.com for tickets and more information. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is at 7:30. Thirdly, we have Buffalo Championship Wrestling presents Big Fall Bash. Saturday, September 28th at the Arlene Aycheka Jalil. That's AYCHAJLIW Community Center. Go to bcw-wny.com for tickets and more information. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time is at 6:30 p.m.
Well, thank you, Michael, for that amazing report. And like we say, go out there and support all your local independent wrestling. I just got to say, was that a fucking transformer on that Buffalo Championship Wrestling poster? Is there going to be a transformer at that show? Holy shit. I kind of want to go to Buffalo to see that. But hey, I can tell you this. That is not the biggest independent wrestling show of the year, though. No. Check this out.
Your monkey ass whooped by Uzi?
The Schmitty is coming!
The Smitty is coming Friday, August 23rd at the Owen Valley Sports Complex in Spencer, Indiana. Tickets available now. Get yours by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen.
That's right. The Smitty is coming. It's almost here, my friend. Friday, August the 23rd, coming to you in beautiful Spencer, Indiana. It is a one-night 16 competitor tournament. There's going to be some shenanigans and so much more. And hey, your boys, Cole TV, we are going to be there. Cannot wait for the Schmitty. And like I say, if you are within a 4 to 6 hour driving distance, maybe 12 hours, I don't care. Get your ass to Spencer, Indiana, Friday, August 23rd, because this is going to be a tremendous show that you're not going to want to miss. Trust me on this. Now this is an interesting story and development, B-roll. Sounds like the Lucha Brothers may be leaving AEW and may, in fact, be WWE bound. What do you make of this? You think it's true?
I don't see it.
Their style, it's kind of hard to see. But I could also see them fitting in great, like on the NXT brand and stuff. I don't know. I think it may be one of those things with Pentagon. I think he wants to at least at one point work for the WWE. He's pretty much worked everywhere else, so that's the aspect of it. I could see why it would happen, but I'm like you. I'm kind of a little skeptical. I don't see them leaving AEW, but it's not going to completely shock me if they do. But time will tell. We'll find out soon enough. This came out this week as well. It looks like one Britt Baker has been cast in the final season of Cobra Kai.
Fresh off a suspension.
Fresh off a suspension, and now she's in Cobra Kai. So, which doesn't surprise me, especially with like Paul Walter Hauser being a huge wrestling advocate. You know, there's been a lot of AEW references on the show before. So yeah, I could totally see her being there. It makes sense, and I'm excited to see what she's going to be doing on there. That time of the show, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week.
Hi, Harry. What's up? You are. Haha. And thankfully not my blood pressure. Woo, for once. Yeah. Look into my eyes. What do you see? Patriotic eyes, red, white, and blue. Whatever. Hi. Hat's not on. That's okay. Brian's random moment of the week. Follow me everywhere you can. All the apps, Next Level, and Tick to the Talk, and you don't stop and all that. But I want you to do me a favor. Do the same for XOJ, the OG, and MJD, and the entire crew you see here on PW60. All right, so what did everybody think about SummerSlam? As part of my random moment of the week, it's going to be something a little bit from SummerSlam and something from the past in a continuing our What If series. What did you think about SummerSlam? I thought it was pretty awesome. We had the turns that you figured would have happened, but it was like, how exactly do we get to that point? How does Dom exactly turn on Rhea to join Liv as part of the plan? How exactly does Finn turn? Does he turn at SummerSlam? Does he wait till Raw? What happens there? So we got those, and we got some really great matches and things, great moments too, especially Roman returning and all that. So, yeah. What do you think? And what do you think the future of the Judgment Day is going to be going forward? Okay, so now for the What If series, and for the next several weeks, we're going to look at wrestlers leaving companies and what would have happened if they would have not left said company. And we're going to start off, in fact, the next few weeks are going to be people who, in one form, shape, or another, either in going in or leaving WCW, going to WCW or leaving, tied in with some of the original members of the NWO. And we're going to start off with Hulk Hogan. Polarizing figure, I know, but think about it in the context of 1993. What if Hulk Hogan never left the WWF in 1993? How would the rest of his career went there? How would it have impacted WCW from their time going forward when they got Hogan in 94? And so much more. So there's so much to unwrap with that. Again, hypothetical, what if Hulk Hogan never left the WWF in 1993? And have yourself a great time and enjoy the rest of PW60.
Well, I can tell you one thing, B-roll. If that happened, then all XLJ would have been watching WCW the entire damn time. I'm just saying. Well, Brian, we love you and we appreciate the shout out, my friend. And you know who else we love? We love our wrestling content creators. And this week, our Ruby Ringside Content Creator of the Week is none other is Ashley and Cosplay. Which she's got some amazing wrestling cosplays. She's done Cody Rhodes before. Charlotte Flair, just to name a few. And she's got some pretty badass other cosplays too outside the world of pro wrestling. But if you're not following her, go give her a follow. She has some amazing stuff. Ashley and Cosplay is our Ruby Ringside Content Creator of the Week this week here on PW60. And speaking of Ruby, it was announced that Ruby Soho and Angelo will be having a little girl. That's right. They're going to be having a little girl be their first kid. We here at PW60, we want to wish them congratulations. So happy for these two. It's exciting. And cannot wait to see this little girl. And hey, who knows? Maybe in about 20 years or something, she'll be tying up her boots and stepping in the wrestling ring just like old mom and dad. So congratulations to Ruby Soho and Angelo Dawkins. And finally, our last story this week on PW60. As you saw, we opened the show with a tribute here in memory of one Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan was one of the great minds in all pro wrestling, a phenomenal storyteller, booker. The one thing I don't think he gets enough credit for that he should be is he's like one of the better like heels in all pro wrestling, in my opinion. Like playing that evilish, devilish character. Especially if you look back on his stuff he did in like Florida in like the 80s and stuff, and in the NWA as well. And of course, the stuff he did, like I grew up on the Taskmaster and the Dungeon of Doom, as corny as it was at times, but still, though, like none of that would have existed. None of that would have worked if it wasn't for Kevin Sullivan. The wrestling world truly lost a tremendous legend in the one Kevin Sullivan. So we here at PW60 want to wish our condolences to Mr. Sullivan's family. I did get the privilege of meeting Kevin Sullivan at a Squared Circle Expo a couple years ago. Just a super nice guy, and like I say, the wrestling world will definitely be missing one Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan, the late great Kevin Sullivan. Well, my friends, somehow we have done it again. We have covered everything. We're on that road to All In, as well as things are starting to heat up as Bash in Berlin's only a couple weeks away too, man. Just so much happening. And of course, all those Japanese round robin tournaments are going on as well. Cannot wait to see what happens this week in pro wrestling. Well, I'm XLJ the OG with Mr. B-Roll, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody have a great week. Bye.